Hello and welcome back to the Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Kieran Rogers.
I'm Louise Crossley.
And I'm Daniel Rolls.
And today we are discussing GA4 funnel reports.
So this one comes from the fact that we've been doing lots of GA4 masterclasses. So we've been teaching this stuff loads. And you go to the custom report sections, you go through to the explore section, and there's all these lovely templates that you can work from. And getting your head around it, first of all, is a little bit confusing. But this is the one I kept looking at it and going, this funnel makes no sense, right? So basic concept of a funnel report, there's people passing through some sort of process. Standard would be like an e-commerce process.
Yeah.
So you're putting your details in, you're adding your credit card, you're going through to the transaction and so on. And you want to see where people are dropping out of that funnel. That's the whole point of a funnel report. But the funnel report you get within GA4, it basically said 100% of people got to this stage, 100% to this stage, 100% to this stage, 0%.
So that's the example they give, isn't it?
They give it, and you go in and I'm looking at it going, I don't understand this funnel report. Well, maybe I'm being stupid. So what they've done, which is very strange, is that they'd started off with people starting a session. Well, when you arrive on the website, you do start a session. Yeah. That's what happens. And then it said, then it was a page impression. And then you loaded an event. Well, a page impression was an event. So you end up, yes, you did a session. Yes, you loaded a page unless you triggered an event, because you do all three of those things just the second you arrive on the website.
No one cares, Daniel, as long as the data looks good.
Well, it didn't. 100% funnel is not a good look, though, is it? Because it means that everyone's doing. And then it went through and just dropped to 0.
Look at our conversion rates.
Yeah, so it was very, very confusing. The other thing is it's set up because GA4 is for apps and for websites. Mm-hmm. It had the options for both a page view and a screen view. So every stage had two things in it, which made it even more confusing as well. So my advice is this. You go into this report. So just how you get there, you go to explore on the left-hand side in GA4, and you'll get up some standard kind of templates, start from scratch and so on. And then you've got this funnel one you can bring up. The thing to understand is that everything's an event, which we've spoken about this before. So you probably want to start with how many people have I got coming to my website? So you might just go, a session. Somebody started a session. Okay, that's fine. That'll be everyone coming in. That's everyone. That's your first stage. Then you probably want to look at a particular page or section of your website. So you're going to go in and you're going to say an event has happened, but the event is a page view. Right. Okay, so you go in and you put that's the type of event it is. And then you say the page location of that event. So you add some criteria to it. Yeah. So they've gone in, they've started a session, nice and simple. Then they've viewed a page, okay, but it's this specific page. So I was really interested in this. So I went through and looked at it, and this is why we're talking about it, because I learned something really useful for our site. Went in, started the session, they went through and viewed our sales page. Okay? So that's the page that's trying to sell them a subscription to Target Internet. And then, of all the people who went through there, and they triggered an event, and that event was a purchase. So the basic thing is they've arrived on the website in any way. They're just on the website. They've ended up visiting one of our sales pages or this particular sales page, and they've actually gone through to a transaction. And I wanted to see what the dropout rates were. What was fascinating for me was that the actual sales page itself had a really nice conversion rate of 2.5%. 2.5% is a pretty good conversion rate for a page. Right? I mean, like 3.5% would be pretty amazing. So I hadn't realized the page was doing that well. What I hadn't realized was that of actually all the people getting to the website, 99.7 of them, whatever it was, were never getting to those sales pages. So what that immediately tells me from a conversion rate optimization point of view is my sales page isn't the problem. It's funneling people through to that in the first place. I'm just not getting enough people. I'm not telling enough people about the product. They're getting loads of content. They're doing other things, and they're kind of leaving. Okay.
Isn't it refreshing when analytics, like you look at an analytics report and it tells you what you need to do, rather than confusing you and making your head hurt?
Do you know, it's funny you say that. I mean, that's what I spent most of my life with GA4 going, I just don't get what this is telling me. Yeah. And now this was like, oh, wow, this funnel report is incredible because I can now see the wood for the trees and I can really understand if we start going through and getting more people through to this page. So we need more calls to action. We're going to need to maybe some interim steps of going, okay, well, people aren't just going to jump from arriving on a piece of article and going to this page maybe. So what else can I do that might get them there? Can I get more people there via email? Can I get them to sign up for something? Can I, whatever it might be.
So with e-commerce, you've got a similar thing, but you would look to see all of those stages you've mentioned, but you'd add in a step for ads, like the event is add something to basket. Okay,
right, exactly.
And then you add another event for looks at basket page.
Yeah.
And then another event
Put the credit card details.
Yeah, or it might be another event for logs in or does guest checkout. You know, so you're separating them out. And it's hugely useful to be able to measure that. But the real value comes in when you try doing something a bit different. So you might go, okay, what happens if we put live chat within the basket and checkout areas?
Yeah, right.
How does that improve? And now I can compare like for like over 2 periods between us doing this one way and doing it another. And that's super useful. Just be careful because these are explore reports. So unless you've been into your data stream within the settings of GA4 and physically asked it to extend, so I think the default is like 3 months worth of data. You want to extend that. So anything like that, you're going to be wanting to look over a couple of months period. You've only got 3 months in total.
2 months is the default.
Is it 2 months? Yeah. If you've only got a couple of months by default,
change to 14.
You want to up that, and then you can do that.
Yeah, so that's within the admin, and you go for your data collection settings within there. The other nice thing about this, and I think this is once you get your head around this, a lot of the custom reports become easier. What I always do is have 2 versions of analytics open. I'll have analytics, I'm going to build the custom report, and I have it open again, and I've just got it open in the settings under events. What that's going to do is list all of my event names.
Oh, that's handy.
So by having it in 2 places, then you go, right, is it a page underscore view? Is it page dash view? Whatever. And you'll just have your naming conventions there. So you go, right, the event is a page view, or the event is a click, or the event is a form complete, or whatever else it might be that you're looking at. And you work your way through that. And then you're normally adding some sort of filtering criteria, like it's a page being viewed, but it's this page location.
Yeah.
Or it's a form being filled in, but it's on this particular page. So by doing that, you're defining a lot more clearly what it is that you actually want to look at as you kind of go through. But I think the funnel reports is one of those things where people aren't really seeing a huge value in GA4 because they haven't customized the report yet. But actually, the funnel reports are probably one of the most value sets of reports in there.
When you do, you can see that, gosh, this is a big leap forward, right? This is an improvement.
Yeah, massively.
That's exciting.
And then also bear in mind that any of these reports you create, you can save those as well. And then you can add that into the menus anywhere you want. So you go down to library on the menus and you can add in your own custom libraries by creating collections. So there's a lot of new terminology in there as well. But once you've done this, you suddenly go, okay, I'll do this and I'll look at it again in the future. I can see how I've improved things. The other nice thing is to what you were just saying, a lot of the time you used to need A/B testing software to try out 2 different versions of a page. What you can also do is you could create 2 different versions of a page that live in different locations, funnel people through to those pages differently from different parts of your site, but set up 2 funnel reports to see which one's working better. So you can do a version of A/B testing without any additional A/B testing software, just by setting up some different navigation through your website to go and do that.
I quite like that approach. One of the problems I've found with A/B testing software is they kill your page speed.
Yeah, it can
horribly. And I've not, guys, if anybody's found one that doesn't, let me know.
Well, we're interviewing Optimizely actually in the next week as well. So they've got a lot to say on this as well. So we'll come to that. But I think this just gives you some different ways of doing some testing from that point of view as well. Now, something to flag up. And by the time this goes out, this would have happened. But I think this was confusing a lot of people. You'd go into a lot of GA4 reports and you'd see thresholding applied.
Yeah.
And you'd go, oh, great. I don't know what that means. And then you'd have this really weird thing. You'd see a report and the chart would show 5 different things and then the table would have 2 things in it. And you'd be like, I don't get what's going on. Thresholding was because of something called Google Signals. It's to do with the fact that they have essentially not got the third-party cookie data anymore. So they're using Google Signals, i.e. I'm logged in on my laptop, I'm logged in on my phone, and therefore you can work out it's the same person. And they're using some of this data within that reporting profile. The problem with that is that you could start to, if it was low enough numbers, you could start to identify individuals, or theoretically you could. So they stopped showing you that data. Now, what they're doing on the 12th of February, so by the time you see this, it would have happened already, but essentially they've switched that off. So to understand, and this is the tricky thing, Google Signals is still there. It's still switched on at an account level, but from a reporting entity point of view, reporting profile point of view, it's switched off. That's fine. You don't need to really overthink this because they've done it for everyone automatically now. But if you had any of these anomalies, you had that exclamation mark showing up in your report, some of your data didn't add up, that was why. And I think they just realised it was a bit of a mistake because it could lead to incomplete reporting.
It was a massive problem for smaller organisations.
Yeah, for us,
large,
it was huge.
It averaged out and it was okay. But small organisation, you go to look at a day's data or a couple of days' data and you just can't see anything.
We're talking like 30, 40,000 visits a month. It's not tiny numbers, but once you drill down to conversions on a particular day, you're talking a handful. And therefore, it was just skewing all that data. So if you hear about it, that's what it was, and that was what was causing the issues as well. So these custom reports, there's loads of them out there. The other thing to remember about custom reports is that you've basically got 3 bits of the window, right? You've got the first bit that's allowing you to choose what you might bring into your report. The second bit is the bit that's deciding what goes onto the page and what lays out on the page. And then you've got the actual canvas where everything is kind of visualized. Where you're selecting what's going to show up on the page, you can select from any of those templates. So you can have the funnel, you can have the cohort explorer, all these different things. But what gets missed a lot is that the actual canvas itself, you can have multiple tabs, and each of those tabs can have a different type of report on it. So you can go through and create an amazing dashboard that's got everything in one place for you. And you've got each of the reports that you need. And I'm finding that actually having multiple different funnels available to me in a single report with these different tabs is a really nice way of doing it as well. So if anybody's got any examples of reports they've created, send us a screenshot and share if you're happy to share the data, and we'd be willing to share with everyone how you've got on. So just kind of let us know on that as well.
So would you say now that you favour GA4 to
massively? Oh, massively. Yeah. It's so much better than Universal Analytics. It's so much more accurate in terms of the reporting. You can't compare it like for like in terms of data versus data, but it just allows me to drill in things a lot more as well because of that customization. So it does give me...
We're almost out of the woods on that, aren't we? Like the whole comparison thing has been a problem for a lot of organisations. Most organisations got their GA4 working at some point last year. For a lot of people, it was the deadline month of like before July starts. So by July this year, which is not that far away now, is it? Start to have year-on-year comparison data.
And I'm going to go, no, you won't. And I'll tell you why.
Oh, no.
Because of this signals thing.
No.
Yeah, so because it's collecting data slightly differently.
No, so that it's that retro signals data is in your data.
Yeah, it's part of the data. So it depends on what you've been looking at and what you've run previously. So, and it is part of well, it is and it isn't. So but the reality is you've got to know what you're looking at and what you're comparing like for like.
The crucial question, will it make marketers look better or worse?
It will hopefully make them look better.
No one cares then.
I think you're probably right because you're going to count more data, you're going to have more numbers. But you need to know that what you're comparing is not apples to apples, really.
Be aware of that one.
Yeah. So 12th of February is the date. So therefore, when you look back previously to that, if you're seeing something a bit skewed, that could be why it is.
Okay, word of warning, mug up on that one and make sure you know your ups and which way's up and which way's down on that. Because at some point, some hairy Herbert will whip that out when you're presenting stuff.
And go, does it include this? And you'd be like,
you need to have an answer.
No.
You need to have an answer.
So we'll put a link into the show notes over, so targetinternet.com/podcast, and we'll put all the links in for this kind of stuff as normal. But building out custom reports gives you a load of insight that you normally would only have got if you were using A/B testing software and all these kind of things. So my advice is that you need to start by knowing what you want. Because I've spent hours building reports and I can do that. I don't know why I would. And it's actually that thing of going, what am I trying to work out? I just want to know how to get more conversions on this page. Right, okay. How are people traveling through that page? Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where are they dropping out? Is that kind of thing. So like when you were building out a lot of this stuff originally, you were saying, what do we actually need to know? Rather than just going in and going, well, there's loads of stuff we can look up here. And it's like, yeah, but why would we? And I've been to so many kind of meetings where people go through 20 or 30 reports. And I'm just thinking, why are we looking at this? Like, if there was a specific reason, I would understand looking at a specific report, but there's not. We're just going through it for the sake of it's a report we report on. So I would draw it back down to what your fundamentals are and then just build out on that basis. Makes a huge difference.
And if you want to go a bit more in depth into GA4, there's a masterclass on the 27th of February.
So targetinternet.com/masterclass. And we're running those all the time now as well. And we want to hear your experiences of this as ever. We do feature them, so let us know. And we will bring it out and give you a bit of exposure.
Please subscribe for more videos like this and visit targetinternet.com for more free digital marketing resources.